All right, well, great to be back outside on the grass. Beautiful day for football, and guys did a good job. There's a lot of guys running around. A lot of guys got their first day of college football today. It's good to see Micah Crowell playing again, coming back from his injury. Chase Hatley out there playing for the first time. So, Zion Reeves, some guys that didn't play last year that were on the team, and then our mid-year guys that are here, getting them out there. And then like you'd expect, seeing Devin Leary throw the ball to Devin Carter and seeing how that looks. Grant Gibson, the communication on the line defense, having all these guys back. So it was a great first day. Obviously, we're not hitting yet, but the install was pretty clean.
Were you pleased with how fast the guys moved to one person?
Yeah, I think some of it's good. We're in different phases. You have the older players where you're criticizing them for a 1-inch false step because that's where they're at. And then you have younger guys that have no idea what they're doing. And it's analysis by paralysis by analysis for them. And so, you're coaching guys that are in different parts of their career right now on day one, and some of them, like Devin Carter is a great example, Shy Battle, they're out there in their fourth spring ball, so things are routine, they're flying around, they're in great shape. And then you have the young guys like, what period is it? Where am I going? What did he say? So you're coaching all of it, and so you can't really give the team a grade because you got guys in different places on that.
You mentioned Micah Farwell and Chase Hatley, both of them switching positions now at this point. How receptive were they to that, and what was the thought process going behind that?
Both of them were open to it. I think that, like most people, they want to play. They've seen what's happened here with their bodies. They're filled out. They're both big kids that have filled in nicely, and it gives them a better opportunity, with the frame that they have to play in that role and do things for us earlier in their career because of that.
How do you go about managing the expectations day one and kind of get these guys to understand that this specific team hasn't actually accomplished anything yet?
Yeah, I think every team's that way, and for us it's more about, postseason, people talking about our next season like that, and it's just a different mindset as far as coming back. You just can't be complacent. You have to remember, we didn't win the ACC. We had a really good season. A lot of those guys are back, but they want to be better than they were, and so they carry that chip on their shoulder, particularly with how our season finished. There's a lot of big chip on our shoulder to get back on the grass and play again.
Speaking specifically of the skill positions, are you looking forward to the competition that's going to be taking place there to see who can be that number one guy at this position or that position?
Yeah, at every position. It's not just who's going to win the starting job. You're looking at who's in, if the starter's not, because as we all know, you're only guaranteed the next play, and then you don't know what's going to happen. Every day you're out here as a football player, you're one play away from being out. And so we have to get the next center ready, get the next quarterback ready, the next this. And then there's positions that are open, and so you're excited to see what's going to happen with the battle. And as you mentioned, the skill spots where there's Mecca leaving, and see how that takes over and then how it progresses with Thayer and Porter in there at the same time.
Bryson has been your Swiss Army knife.
Speeds?
What has gone into him at left tackle, and would McKay get a look there too, or is this basically Bryson's job to lose?
No, I think, Coach Garrison's always cross-trained guys that are capable and getting speeds at that position so you can play it. If Tim ends up there some, I wouldn't be surprised. Anthony Belton you'll see there, Pat Matton. So you got to get guys reps, and this is the best time, to let them compete against good defensive linemen and see what their, I guess you'd say your best five, and try to get them enough reps in different spots to see that.
You're able to redshirt a lot of freshman receivers, a lot of DBs, a lot of linemen. What have you kind of seen from them as they get in their stage of their careers where they actually get to play now?
Redshirting guys helps them a lot in a lot of ways. I think the maturity aspect, the ability to get in that weight room, get confident in your body, to go out there and compete against a 22-year-old guy at times. It's hard as an 18-year-old, physically, mentally, emotionally, time management. So the redshirt year, I think, is really good for their personal growth. It's hard for me to say how I've seen them progress until we get pads on and start playing, but body-wise, seen them progress quite a bit.
How do you made of all the players who came back, but it's a big deal that for the second straight year, all the coaches are back.
Yeah.
How big is that for the program and moving forward?
Yeah, I think continuity is really important. These guys trust who's coaching them. They have relationships built. There's time invested from player to coach to player. These coaches have recruited these guys into their rooms, and I think all that plays into it. And you know, it'd be great if these guys left to be head coaches someday, right? And I would be fired up for them, but until it happens, we want to keep these guys together. It's a great staff. We have great chemistry together. Our wives have great chemistry together. It's a family. And so, you know, I really am blessed to work with who I do. I think that's one of the things you guys would all agree with when you walk in the office and see coworkers that are also people you respect. You know, they're great family men. You know, they do things the right way. It makes work different. It's not the same as work. You know, you get a lot of pride and joy out of going in there and seeing these guys every day.
Daryl Jones, what kind of went into thinking of bringing him on board?
You know, just trying to gap the youth of our receiver room and the age of our receiver room. Obviously, with Thayer coming back and DC coming back, and Porter has played, you got 3 guys with experience. Everyone else is young. And so just getting one more older guy, losing C.J. Riley and Emeka, we felt like would help that room.
How do you approach the running back position with the 2 guys you lost that were so key to you?
Yeah, we just got to get them reps. You know, we trust Jordan and Delbert, DeMarcus. Those 3 guys have been here, and we know what they're going to do. And now it's time to see what the 2 freshmen can do and get them in the mix. So it'll be those 5 that we ride with, and obviously in 14 days I'll have a better picture of 14 practices of where we're at.
When you think back to Icky at Providence Day, you know, what has this journey been like to now be a top 5, maybe number 1 pick?
Yeah, I see Mel Kiper come out yesterday. Obviously I have great respect for him, and one of the guys that knows the draft as well as anybody to pick him as the first overall it's a great honor, you know, and I know that the Combine and Pro Day and all these things, the interviews are going to take part in this and can shake things up, but Icky deserves all the recognition he's getting. He's a tremendous football player, he's a tremendous human being, and you know, I remember first time we walked in that building with his dad, you know, and seeing him, and I remember seeing him play live in a game and miss him, you know, not having him on that field, man. That guy's, he's a guy that changes the temperature of the room, you know, he's got tremendous energy.
Does this feel more normal? You know, we got all of us around here. I mean, does it feel kind of back to normal a little bit more? You know, after the last couple of years?
Yeah, I think, you know, other than the mask wearing you have to do in some places, things are pretty much back to normal. People seem to have, you know, kind of settled in on what life is and treating it a little bit more like the common cold, I guess you'd say, is what you're seeing. But yeah, definitely normalizing.
If everyone's back on defense healthy, you know, cross your fingers, all that good stuff. Is there a particular spot, maybe cornerback, where you like to see a little more depth emerge this spring, or do you feel pretty good about what the defense could be?
Yeah, I think so. You know, I'm excited to see Tayshaun Smith come back now. You know, he's been out for a while and played a little bit last year, but he's an experienced player that hasn't been healthy, and so to get him, you know, physically and mentally back out there would be big. You know, seeing the progression of Nate Evans at corner. I'm looking forward to seeing that, and obviously I want to see Shai and Derek compete and get better, you know, and work on the things they can work on. But defensively, I think if you ask every coach, you're always trying to find who's your best 11 and then who's next, you know, because that 11, as you saw last year, changed 7 times for us. We had 7 starters out, and the next man up was terrific. So it's very important that we're building that depth in that side of the football.
We saw Peyton Wilson out there kind of working alone. What's those prospects for him coming up?
Yeah, Peyton's doing great. I mean, every hurdle he's passed, and so going through the spring, continuing to get him back to where he needs to be, ready for the summer. But he's fully cleared, you know, to do the things he's doing, and excited for him. You know, really excited. He feels really good right now.
How about Isaiah as well?
Doing great. Yeah, same thing. Both those guys are on just a later timeline, you know, but they'll both be full speed for the summer.
Is there a guy who you think benefited the most from being thrown into the action last year, or maybe a little bit ahead of schedule?
Good question. Maybe Chris Tootle, you know. I mean, he probably took advantage of his opportunity as good as anybody did last year, and went from really a guy that didn't play at all to a guy that impacted games, you know.
When he's healthy, what kind of role do you expect for C.J. Clark when he's back healthy?
Yeah, I mean, CJ is a guy that obviously, you know, played nose guard last year. We're training him to be able to play both end and nose, so he can be a dual-trained guy like Davin Van is and Corey Durden, so we can constantly rotate and get our best guys out there. So it's going to be a formidable group. You know, when you get him, CJ Clark back, you get Corey Durden back, you know, there's going to be some guys with game experience with a lot of ability. I'm excited about the D-line rotation.
All right, guys, let's finish up and the players are coming.
Last one.
You mentioned earlier how it's good to have all these players out here that have been through this process before, but how good is it to have your quarterback who's that experienced or whatever, that he can be out there on the field for you?
Yeah, I mean, for a head coach to have his starting quarterback back, one he truly has had success with and believes in, is a great thing. I mean, I sleep better at night because of that. Every coach will tell you that. And Devin's in a different place than he was 12 months ago. I'm really proud of him, excited for him. But, you know, for me personally and for every coach on our staff and for every coach in America, we all like having our starting quarterback back, you know. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
It's a really tough league, especially this year. I just think with the COVID super seniors and with the transfer portals, all these teams are